It does take us on to the Hawks.
I'm on for the Hawks. Right.
I find the Hawks really hard to talk about. So I'm interested to see what you say.
Well, you will be interested to know that I also find them quite hard to talk about. So to recap last year, they finished in 9th. Record of a flat even 11 wins, 11 losses, and then a percentage of 108.7%. Finished the year with their best win, coming to Perth and beating the Eagles, knocking the Eagles out of the top 4 for good measure. But the very next day, like that was kind of symbolic of their season, was they played so well at the end. So well in that game. And then the very next day had their finals chances taken away from them by the Bulldogs winning, I think it was.
You're welcome, guys.
So I think that was kind of symbolic of how they went. And I just so their off-season moves. Jared Ruffhead's retired. Grant Birchall's moved on. Schoen Makers is out, and Pitnet then becomes the next most notable I could think of. So really, they don't like. I don't think Ruffhead's going to kill them going.
No, he probably shouldn't have played last year at all.
Exactly. Birchall's
not going to kill him.
Couldn't get on the park anyway. Schoen Makers and Pitnet don't matter. They gained John Patton. Sneakily, that no one talks about because everyone wants to talk about John Patton, is Sam Frost.
That's probably because Sam Frost isn't a very good defender.
I really like Sam Frost.
Do you really?
Not as a one-on-one defender. Not as a one-on-one defender. Not as a one-on-one defender, but as a run out of the backline guy. But that might be their bane actually, because they're probably going to use him as a one-on-one defender.
Probably.
Yeah, that could hurt them. And then Will Day and Finn McGuinness came in through the draft. But let's be quite frank and quite real here. The real acquisition is the return of Brownlow medalist Tom Mitchell.
Yeah, he's a new recruit, effectively.
Like, that is the real...
and
that's
he
the real deal for them.
completely changed. And you got to remember as well, you now have a fit Jaeger O'Meara, whereas in...
Yes.
Where in...
And well-conditioned
Brownlow,
too.
In his Brownlow year, O'Meara was still recovering.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And you add James Warple's like a whole different player from what he was when Tom Mitchell got to play with him. So if you add those three as your, like, they're going to be the starting midfield, I think.
Yeah, I wonder whether James Warple takes a back step, though, because he's effectively playing Mitchell's role that Mitchell does a lot better.
Yes, that's true. I'll be interested to see, like, that'll kind of fall on Mitchell's shoulders a bit to get him involved, because Mitchell's the possession winner, right? And then dishes it out. That's perfect for O'Meara. I don't know how that works for Warple.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes. As things go along, but I think that's a really solid beginning with Ben McAvoy still there in the ruck. And he had an outstanding year last year.
I feel like Ben McAvoy has been playing for 20 years. Does anyone else feel like that?
So long. Remember when he was with the Saints?
I'm pretty sure he's only like 29 or something.
Really?
Yeah, he's not that old. I don't understand how he's been playing for so long.
And he's really underrated. Like, people talk about the best ruckman in the competition, and even like, probably rightly so, but like Rowan Marshall and Riley O'Brien were being talked about him.
No, he's a good equaliser.
Talked about more. But
he doesn't get beaten, but he doesn't win either.
And around the ground, his ability to take a mark around the ground in pressure situations is underrated. I'm excited to see John Patton.
Yes.
That excites me greatly.
He looked, I wouldn't say he looked, promising or ecstatic in the preseason, but he looked solid.
I don't think that, exactly right. The Hawks don't need him to be ecstatic, I don't think. I think they'll find an avenue to score. They usually do in guys that we think are probably past it.
I'll tell you who impressed me a bit was O'Brien.
Yeah. I didn't actually watch their game, but I saw their stats.
This year is the year for O'Brien. If O'Brien doesn't put it all together this year, he'll be gone.
Yeah, they'll move on from him.
I don't know what his contract situation is, but if he doesn't bring it all together this year...
But yeah, I agree.
Considering he's wearing Buddy's old number.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure on that. But I think Patton, like you said, doesn't need to be ecstatic, just needs to be solid. Mitchell Lewis is injured at the moment, isn't he? I don't know what the deal with Mitchell Lewis is.
I haven't looked at the injury list.
I think he was battling something in the preseason, but he might be ready for round 1. That's a pretty good duo if you can keep that with the likes of Gunston and Bruce around their feet. They've got enough to make me think the forward line is going to be quite serviceable. I don't know what to tell you in terms of expectations.
Where do they finish?
8th for mine. They play finals. I think they play finals. Yeah, I think Hawthorn can play finals. Essentially, they were nearly good enough last year, and they're going to add a Brownlow medalist back into their mix. So so long as they can get that midfield mix right, and I think you're right with O'Meara, he's only going to take another step forward because not only is he healthy, but he's now well conditioned and he's back. Like he played enough regular season games last year to make me think, hey, that's good continuity heading into a new preseason that's been uninterrupted now.
Yep.
So I'll go 8th and say that they play finals. What's your take?
My take is pretty much exactly the same as yours. I just don't have the position the same as yours.
Okay.
Where they finish up. But I do, I find Hawthorn really hard to go and place them because they're coached by Clarko. I feel like their list is in a good spot to be going up. I feel like that they had one down year to have an up year. But then I look at all the other teams around them and I think, are they better than some of the other teams around them? And I can't confidently say, yes, they are. I mean, I feel like the teams that are positioned anywhere from 7th to 12th, you could pretty feasibly just move them around and go, I'm not unhappy with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you can make a case for any of them.
I actually have them finishing in my personal ladder 12th and in my squiggle ladder 12th as well. I've got them finishing pretty much...
that's sort of their bracket, 8 to 12, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I don't have them finishing finals, but I wouldn't be surprised if they played finals either.
Yeah. Joel, what do you reckon of the Hawks?
Yeah, so I'm of the opinion that Clarko is like the Bill Belichick of the AFL. So like he's going to turn trash into treasure, and they're gonna be top 4 just because.
That's what team. This is Joel's 4th team is Hawthorn. Very interesting.
Right. And do you know what? I don't hate it.
Yeah, no,
I don't hate it. I can see it happening because they did that in 2017. They should have been nowhere near the top 4 in 2017, and yet they got there. Clarko.
17 or 18?
Might be 18.
Might be 18. The year before.
Yeah, 18.
Yeah. Anyways, I like it. I like it. That's actually that should have been obvious to me that was going to be the team that you were going to have in, because if it was going to be anyone like outside of the teams we've already spoken about, it's probably them. But yeah. So, I mean, what do you sort of see as some of the areas of strength that you think push them into the top 4 then? What stands out to you as what's going to propel them?
I think just getting Tom Mitchell back, it's going to ignite something, and they're just going to go from there. It for me, it always, like, just watching Hawthorn over the years, it seems like most people are like, oh, they're dead and buried. Like, nah. Like 1 year turnaround, and they're back in the hunt. Whether or not they do anything there, but I definitely feel like they're gonna pop out of the ground. Like, yeah, pop out of the ground and just start mowing teams down.
This is the thing with Tom Mitchell. Right, people say that Tom Mitchell doesn't impact the play and everything, and if you're one of those people that says Tom Mitchell is not a damaging player, you have not seen Tom Mitchell play. He might not be on the end of a damaging play, but he's the guy that is at the start of it. Like, without Tom Mitchell starting the play, because he'll put himself under pressure, he'll free up a player, and that player can then make an uninterrupted decision to propel the play forward. And that player that he gives to will make the decision to put the play ahead of him in a position that can then continue to play forwards, right? Because that player that's moving the ball forwards is not under the pressure that otherwise would have been on them had Tom Mitchell not been the person to give them the ball. That is what Tom Mitchell brings to the Hawthorn midfield, that no one really actually understands how his game works. And for the life of me, I don't understand why people don't see it.
You want me to put that in black and white for you? You can't get 50 possessions without pissing the opposition off. And that's damage. You've pissed them off. They don't want you to get 50 possessions, and you do. That's damaging. Yeah. No player gets 50 possessions that are crap.
Like, that's 50 possessions that the opposition didn't have.
If he went at 50% efficiency with that, he still got 25 kicks that were fine. That were good kicks. Like, there's nothing to say that he's not damaging. It's completely flawed crap that people just dish up because they're like, oh, he's just a possession guy.
If you think, okay, O'Meara had a good year last year, Shields had a good year last year, Warple had a good year last year, what kind of year are they going to have with Mitchell now on the team?
Taking all the pressure off finding the footy off them. Like, he reminds me of, like, not exactly in the way they play, but the criticism they cop of Matt Prudis.
Yeah.
Like, everyone used to...
That's exactly who I relate him to.
Everyone
but he's
used
a
to
much
just...
better version of Matt Prudis.
Everyone used to just kill Prudis about, like, oh, his inefficiency sucks. It's like, all right, well, you try handball it when you've got 6 dudes tackling you. Like, spell it out in your mind before you talk crap, basically. So, what did I have? I had him 8th. You've got him 12th. Joel's got him 4th. It's really different.
That is
really different.
That is
assessment.
the story of Hawthorn, though. They could be in any one of those positions, and I would feel like, I expected it.
Yeah, I could make a reason for it.
I don't hate it.
The only position they could be in where it would shock me is below your 12th.
Yeah,
it's the only way. Oh, and maybe above 4th. That would still kind of shock me.
4th would shock me, but I wouldn't be like, wow, that was just completely out of nowhere. Because I expected it last year to happen this year.
Yeah.
I just don't expect it right now because I think all the other teams around them are thereabouts as well.
Yeah, equally as competitive.
Mm.
Yeah.